I don't want to get deplatformed. I don't want the feminists or the misogynist crew or anyone to come after me. I'm just gonna tell you all a little story. Once I was dating a girl I fucking hated. I hated everything about her. I didn't like her opinions. I didn't like what she said. I didn't like her attitude. She was arrogant. She was rude to the waiters. I just didn't like her, but she was very good looking. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't like this person, which is actually quite rare for me. I know you're all sitting there thinking I'm a hate-filled guy. I'm the opposite of hate-filled. I'm apathetic. I'm like, whatever. I don't care about anyone else. I'm extremely selfish. It's all about me, and that's why my life's so fantastic. So it takes a lot of energy for me to hate someone. We were on a date and she was extremely rude to the staff, and she was like rude to me, extremely arrogant when she'd achieved nothing. She was just born hot. Like, I just didn't like anything about that person. So anyway, but she was hot. So it was kind of a weird dynamic. Every time I dated her, I'd think, I don't want to date this girl again. And then I'd be talking to her and she'd humble herself just enough to squeeze another date out of me. Most of you dorks, most of you dudes out here are trying to fuck anything you can get. At the top, I reject far more girls than I ever sleep with. This is what happens when you're like a millionaire athlete, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to brag or nothing, but we all know it's true. So you turn down a lot of girls. So I'm sitting there thinking, does this girl deserve dick or not? Whatever. Anyway, I went to the club. Me and Tristan do something called a wrangle. When we go to the club, we do wrangling. So we wrangle girls. So it's just like any and all girls from the table. So we wrangled. I invited her. She turns up to the club, drinking, whatever. Ends up back at the house. And what happened afterwards was probably, I wouldn't say it's one of the worst things I ever done, but when I told this story, everyone was like, whoa, you can't do that. But I did it. So we're having sex, me and this chick, and halfway through, I remembered all the time she annoyed me on dates. And halfway through, I stopped and said, I've changed my mind.
I don't want to use the word lazy, but I will. They have no interest in world conquest. They want to be comfortable. If you show a woman how to make $1,000 an hour, she'll think, I can work 2 hours a week. If you show a man how to make $1,000 an hour, he'll think I can make $18,000 a day. We want to conquer the world. We want all of it. It's proven it. They're lazy about it. There's like, give me enough for food and rent, can't be bothered, lazy. They're lazy. Yep. So we didn't have time for lazy, right? So I was like, no, we ain't got time for that. We gotta make all of the money. But we made this much today, not enough. There's more money in the world, it's ours. All of it's ours. I got to the point where I was so obsessed with it. I'd be sleeping in bed, because the chicks would sleep with me one each side. I'd wake up to go piss. And by the time I finished pissing, I was awake enough to say, all right, 2 hours sleep, that's enough, get up. Back to work. We're gonna fucking kill it. It's not easy to stand out from the crowd, because the only way to truly achieve individuality is usually a long, difficult road. It takes a long time to become an important man. And even what women expect of an important man, you need to be smart, charismatic, intelligent, strong, have a nice car, nice apartment, good network, good friends. You need to be able to handle stress. You need to be competent. There's so many things you need to be able to do. It's difficult for a young man to even have all these things. There's a reason women like older men. And people like attention, male and female. And I think we live in a world now with the internet where young men especially, instead of trying to go the very hard road of becoming a man who naturally garners attention due to his competence, instead think, well, this dance gets views, so if I do this stupid little dance, I'll get views. And it's a cheap substitute for actual quality as a man. That's what I think it all is. And it's attention seeking, and I understand why they do it. But when you grow up as a man and you grow into a man of status and genuine stature, you're uninterested in doing little dances because you are important simply because you exist. I'm saying that if you go through enough pain and you internalize it the right way and you become a high enough status man, that you don't need to be doing TikTok dances to simply get attention. I get attention for talking, right? I don't have to pay anyone to listen. I just talk. My whole life story enough is attention. So me and these two chicks, and they were about it, right? Because they're getting money as well. Me and these two chicks, we just start fucking hammering the webcam game. Problem is, another thing I knew, when I talk about what women don't find, that women don't know what men find attractive, earlier on in this podcast, everything I said, the webcam company I was running proved that perfectly. The women who were on stream were beautiful, but they didn't have a fucking clue what to say. They were saying all the wrong shit, man. Every day they were saying the wrong shit, and we were losing customers. Everything I was telling you earlier about wanting to be innocent. They're saying, oh, I've been here, I've been there. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're talking to some dude. He doesn't want to hear where you've been. He knows you can't be a 10 talking about how you've been to Dubai to some fucking dude in Minnesota who's fat. He ain't gonna ever believe that he's gonna get you that way. You gotta lie to him. You gotta lie to him. She's like, lie and say what? Say that you've never been anywhere because you don't trust men. You can't find a man who's serious.
Now, if a girl does that to a guy, that's fine. If a girl says, no, stop, and you carry on, you're a rapist. They can do it all the time. But because I did it to a girl, when I told some people, they all lost their minds. You can't do that. Why can't I do that? because I've destroyed her self-esteem. Well, she goes, well, what do you mean you changed your mind? I was like, maybe get dressed and go or stay. I don't know, it's up to you, but I changed my mind, I don't want to. She's like, why? I was like, I don't know, I just don't want to. I didn't tell her because I don't like her as a person and because she's nasty inside. I didn't tell her that. I mean, she's hot. But now I've seen her titties. I played with her titties a bit. You know, I fucked her a bit. Like, I don't want to. Like, I'm done now. I've seen it. I don't like you. I don't want to. So I stopped. I went to the bathroom, came back. She's getting dressed, in a mood. Already called her Uber, on the verge of tears. I was like, look, you can be angry if you want. I don't want you to be angry or anything. I just changed my mind. I hope you get home. Message me when you get home safe. Off you go. And then obviously she left and my girlfriend came around and finished it up. So when I told people this, everyone's like, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, pure evil, all this shit. So basically they're saying I've destroyed her self-confidence and destroyed her self-esteem and I shouldn't have done what I did. But girls can do that kind of shit to men all the time. So when I told this story, one guy said to me, I'm going to start doing that as a matter of habit. And I do not recommend that. I'm not saying you should do that as a matter of habit. But perhaps you need a nuclear weapon. Perhaps out there, guys, you're dating some girl and you don't like her. You don't like anything about her. And you just want to do something truly evil for once in your life. If you want to destroy her self-esteem, if you want to make her afraid to ever have sex with a new guy ever again, if you want her to look in the mirror and say, what's wrong with me? What, is it my tits? Is it my face? Do I need a new nose? Do you want to inspire a girl to get fucking facial surgery and mess with her face and fillers and just destroy her self-confidence? Especially these Instagram girls. That's all they're based on is how they look. If you want to destroy a female from the inside out, that's how you do it.
In my world, and I'm only 35 years old, when I was 17, you didn't go on the internet and do TikTok dances. If you wanted to matter, you needed to have money, you needed to be strong, you needed to be intelligent, you needed to have important friends. You had to become a man. And what I'm saying is that in the world we live in today, the internet has allowed certain people to skip an entire process of manhood. Now you have Twitch streamers who are 19 years old, fat, drinking fucking soya milk, who have millions and millions of people paying attention to them, and they're rich now. So they're statistically successful, but they are not men, and they will never become men. Because to be a man, you must suffer. You must suffer and you must survive. And my point is that when these TikTok dances are being done, it's a way to garner attention without having to go through the genuine hardship which is required to garner attention as a genuine male. That's the point. Unfazed. You put me in a room with 20 of the most beautiful women you've ever seen, stark naked, didn't give a fuck. Walked straight in, spreadsheet, walked straight out. Didn't care.
Did you smash one of them?
Of course I fucked, but I'm saying I was about the money. I approached it as a professional. I was a professional to the game. That's why we killed it. Worst town in England with the highest crime rate, blah, blah, blah. Lived in a shit area, grew up with nothing. And I've done all of this completely myself. No financial help, never got a loan from a bank, a friend, nothing. Did all of it completely by myself. So I remember being broke. So the people who are serious, the people who are smart enough to go, I only work because I want money. I don't care what I do. I just want money. Cool. Then you can come to my school. It's $49 a month for Hustlers University, and we teach 18 modern wealth creation methods. We teach 18 different ways to make money in the modern world, which is very different from the old world. So it's all modern wealth creation, 18 different modern wealth creation methods. It's $49 a month. I'll say this now. Anybody who's serious about making money should be inside, because $49 is not going to help you in any other way in your life. There's no crypto you're going to buy for 50 bucks. It's going to blow up. There's nothing else. For $50, you have fucking nothing to lose. We'll teach you how to make money if you're ready to sit there and learn. I refuse to accept that there are people out there who cannot become happy, contented individuals. I refuse to accept we live in a world where God has created people who, no matter how hard they work and how good their life becomes, can't be happy. I don't accept that. I accept that the universe is a very giving place and that God loves all of us. And if you try your best and you work hard, you can become a better person. I'm telling the younger generation that if they don't get up and work hard and make sure that they're important, that the world's not going to give a shit about them. 99% of my content was aimed at men, telling them the truth, saying that as a man, you're born with no inherent value. You have to become important. You have to go through some pain or go through some suffering to make people care about you. Otherwise, you're not going to matter. As a dude, if you walk into the party and you've put no effort into your life, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about you. And every man out here knows. And one of the great things about the masculine journey and masculinity is that we've all lived a semi-similar story. It's kind of cool. Like, we've all been the teenager, gets heartbroken. We've all been unimportant. We've all like worked hard and then started to get some clout. And then we've all kind of lived the same kind of journey. So I say to everybody out there, yeah, if you don't follow that path and follow that journey and in one way or another get to the top, whether it's fighting, whether it's comedy, whether it's musician, whatever it is, if you're just going to stay somewhere near the bottom and then at the age of 44, email me saying I'm depressed, well, of course you're depressed, loser. Yeah. But that was your choice because you have to build yourself as a man. And if you decide not to build yourself, then your life's going to suck. General.
best.
I believe men and women are a beautiful union. I think we're slightly different, but when we work together, we're the most powerful force in the world. And I certainly believe that men and women, when they work together, is the most beautiful force on the planet. So of course I believe in men and women. Of course I believe in love. Of course I believe in marriage. Of course I believe in family. Okay. I believe in marriage in the traditional sense. I believe a man has a duty to stand up and be a real man. I believe that the problem with the world today that we are facing is that not enough men are sticking to the age-old ways of masculinity. I believe that me standing up and saying a man must protect a woman and provide for her, so he needs to make sure that she's safe. He needs a degree of authority. I believe women are sovereign individuals and they can make any choice they so desire. I think that it's important that we remember that a man has a duty. I think I certainly in my relationship have a financial responsibility to provide for my woman. My woman would never have to work unless she wanted to, because I'm the kind of person who works hard enough. And I'll make another point that needs to be said. The number of women who have stood up and stuck up for me is ignored. Thousands of women are making videos saying, I've met Andrew Tate, he's such a nice guy. I wish I had a man like Andrew Tate who felt responsible to protect and provide for me. You know what? I do belong to my husband. That's why I married him and I love him. We ignore the thousands of women who stood up and stood by me and said everything I said is true. This is that there's a large contingent of men who still want to make money, go to the gym, be strong, drive a fast car, be traditionally masculine, and don't want to be shamed for that. I believe that feeling depressed is real. I don't believe depression as a clinical disease is real. I think PTSD is very real. Unfortunately, I have some friends who suffer from that. I know that feeling depressed is real. I believe that the number one power you have against these things are trying to take control of your own mind and affecting your own life. I believe that it's not healthy to hand over all your power and believe that depression is an outside disease that you can't affect. I know that when I've had difficult periods in my life, and also many of my friends, like I've said, suffer from PTSD and been through terrible things. I've lived a very difficult life, and I know people who have, that the things that made them feel better is when they woke up and said, you know what, I'm not going to allow this to damage me anymore. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to get up and I'm going to fight this as hard as I can. My main message is to resist the slave mind, to understand that every single thing you're being told has an agenda behind it, or you wouldn't be told it otherwise. To examine every strongly held belief you have and try and identify where it comes from and why you have it. I sit and argue with people, I discuss things with people, and they so fervently believe a point. And I say, why do you believe that so much? Like, do you have personal experience? No, but I saw the news. The news told you X, and now you are desperate. You will sit here for hours arguing that point. A lot of people are completely empty vessels ready to be programmed. And I try and tell people, listen, to just stop for a second and understand that the things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. The people who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of the people who make the rules of the game. So, telling people to resist a slave mind and just be critical thinkers, keep their brain open, pay attention to things, be perspicacious. That's the general theme. And it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, liberal, man, woman, etc. It's just think for yourself. If someone comes to me and says, I'm clinically depressed, or I feel very, very sad, I would say the first thing you need to do is stop accepting the identity of a clinically depressed person. Stop accepting you have no control over this. And what you need to do is stop identifying that way, and let's work together to try and fight against it. A lot of people who are clinically depressed are suffering with something in their life, and if you fix the problem in their life, perhaps they won't feel depressed anymore. The thousands of people who have emailed me saying, my doctor told me I was clinically depressed and it's a disease that I have got in my brain and I can't be fixed. And I started listening to you and I realized that that's not the case and I can fix my own life, and you're the only person who has ever helped me. I believe feeling depressed is real. I do not believe it's a disease that you catch from the sky and you cannot affect. I believe that no matter what happens, I believe you have control of your own mind and you can fight against it. I believe if you change your circumstances in your life, you may feel different. I'll give you a quick example. I had a guy who emailed me saying he was clinically depressed and he was going to kill himself. I obviously am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. I told him, because I replied to my emails. I said, have you been to a psychiatrist? He said, yes, I'm clinically depressed. I've been on these pills, this amount of time. I've been on antidepressants, it doesn't work. I said, I don't know what to say to you besides this. And he said he lost his girlfriend, that's why I became clinically depressed. I said, listen, go to the gym, get a six-pack first. Once you've got a six-pack, email me again. If you still feel like killing yourself, I don't know what else to say to you. But I'd say, strong body is a strong mind, go train. He went, he started sending me progress pictures, emailing me him getting in better shape, and eventually got a six-pack. He's now a professional bodybuilder. And he said, I can't believe I was considering that. I feel so much better, etc. The doctor was telling him he was clinically depressed and couldn't cure it. He started taking control of his own life, and now he felt better. That if somebody has depression of any kind, whether it's clinical, whether it exists or not, whether they feel depressed or not, whatever, that taking control of their life, taking personal responsibility and working hard is always going to be the positive, best thing they can possibly do for their life going forward.
How positive is it?
Of course, money can't buy happiness, I agree. But money is the third most important thing in the world. First is your health, because you have nothing, you're gonna die. Second is your relationships, because you need love and family, that matters the most. But money can buy everything else. So money's the third most important thing. The average people come to me and say, what do I do? I'm just the average guy. And my only answer is stop being the average guy. It's my only answer. You can't just be the average guy anymore. The idea from the 1950s that you can just be the normal, average, law-abiding, hard-working citizen and you'll have a good life is gone. Any man out here who goes, I'm just gonna work hard, do my bit, and obey the laws, and I'll have a good life. No, you won't. No, you will not. Just doing your job is never gonna make you rich, because you're just gonna be taxed into infinity and you're gonna stay broke. So just obeying laws and doing your job now has set you up to be a peon and a slave for eternity. You have to get yourself in a position where you're making enough money. My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. I was pointing out that very uncomfortable.
Is that a truth?
It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about. I don't want to be seen as a negative influence in the world. I know that there's a whole bunch of men. I get thousands of emails a week from men whose lives I've saved. I get thousands of emails a week from men who are on the verge of suicide and I've saved their lives. I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. I don't want anybody to be offended by anything I say. I want to be a positive force in the world. I don't want anybody to hear what I say and make them feel bad about themselves. I want all people to live righteous and good, whether they're male or female. I think righteous is living true to your heart and knowing that you're doing good by people, not snaking anybody, not lying to anybody. I know I live a very righteous life. The government is not capable of helping the poor. And this is why it's so important as a person, you take personal responsibility and understand you're living in a world where the matrix can be cracked. You can make a bunch of money, but you need to take responsibility and do it.